We're back with AstroImageJ, and here's the program. It actually has all these drop-down menus, so it's a little bit more complicated than at first it looks. We're not going to open a single image, but we're going to now import an image sequence. And I'm going to go to a file that has already been plate solved, and by clicking on the first one, I'm going to open 11 images, starting with number 1, going through an increment of 1, and I'm going to use a virtual stack, is what all those things mean. Went sliding by. So here's my image, and I can mess around with the display parameters, but this is the full field of view, 43.1 arc minutes on a side, and so what I'll do is zoom in a lot so that we can get our double star of interest here. And AIJ makes it pretty darn easy to do some of this good stuff. So the first thing I can do is get an appropriately sized aperture by clicking on the star and then going up here to Analyze and Plot Seeing Profile. And what this will do is look at the distribution of light in the different pixels here and suggest a radius, a gap, and a outer annulus for making measurements. I can say save that, and this is really showing you half of a symmetrical curve. The other half would be going this way, of the profile of this star, if we drew a line through it and plotted the light intensity. And so it's a slick tool for getting a measurement circle here, an aperture that's appropriately sized for the exposure that you've made. Now I've got 11 different exposures here in a stack, and we're looking at number 1 out of 11. You can see way up here at the top, 1 out of 11 in almost microfiche. And I can choose to display the outer circles or not. So if I were doing photometry on these stars, the outer bands would be important. I'm going to get rid of the outer ones because it clutters up the look here. Some people like to do this white on black or black on white. Because it draws yellow, purple circles, I tend to like the white stars on a dark background. So what this does is you can now hold down the middle button on your mouse and scroll to the other star and then release it. And it gives you a measurement in arc seconds and tells you what that position angle is. And I'm going to go now to the next image. By the way, it pops this into a measurement table. And I'll go to the next image. This is now number 2 out of 11. And I've got to erase this stuff that's overdrawn, so I'll use a little thing here that looks like a broom to sweep away my apertures, and I can measure the second one. And I don't have a 3-button mouse, so I'm holding down the roller ball on my regular plain old Windows $9.95 mouse, and I get another measurement. It automatically goes over into my measurement table, and I can continue down through my stack. And the idea is that, and I'll erase the artwork that I put on there and do the next one. And the interesting thing is that I don't have to be very precise about, I'll go off center like this on purpose, and I'll let go and notice that it snaps over and it automatically draws the circle around the centroid. It will calculate the mathematical center of this point spread function and then make the measurement from the center of the A star to the center of the B star. And you can do this many times so that you can then average your results and get better measures. So this is saying, 25.644 and 24.4 and 0.6. So by having multiple images and measuring, in this case, 11 different times, I can get a better statistical measurement. I'm getting more accurate, more precise data. And each one of these gets put into my measurement table automatically. I have to just remember to erase what I drew on the previous image. They tend to overlay very closely because the telescope mount works pretty darn well, and each image is almost exactly on top of the others, but it looks like we had dithering on because it moved by just a couple arc seconds there. And I'll continue this, and I'll go through all 11, and I won't bore you with that because it would take a moment, and then we can export this as a CSV file, bring them into a spreadsheet program like Excel, and do your statistical manipulations. So I'll come back in just a moment.